Greetings, royal family, followers, and friends. Happy New Year. I am back. This is my first video of the new year. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, productive new year so far. If you can hear my voice, if you can see the picture on the screen, then you are amongst the land of the living, okay? And you made it to 2026. Happy New Year. All right, y'all, we got to get into some hot topics, okay? You see Nicki Minaj in the thumbnail. Although that story is a little bit old, I didn't get an opportunity to discuss it last year. So I am going to give my brief opinion on the matter. I'm not going to stay on that too long. Ray J, we got to talk about brother Ray J, okay? Ray J's sick. Anybody go check on him, see how he doing? We're going to get into that. I also want to talk about the dress, okay? Everybody's talking about this darn dress. I'm going to share my thoughts. And most recently, Donnie McClurkin has been hit with some serious allegations. Okay. Some people are shocked. Some people don't believe it. Some people think it's a money grab. And some people are not surprised at all. Okay. And he recently spoke out. So he was on video responding to the lawsuit. Okay. So we're going to touch on that as well. All right. So as you're coming in, please pay your admission fee for the new year, all right, by hitting the like button, drop down in the comments, and share your thoughts. All right, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. Onika Tanya Mirage. Okay, so she pissed a lot of people off. She's been quiet. I haven't seen much going on Twitter. I know people have been giving their opinions about Nicki's political stance. Some are in favor of it. Some follow whatever it is that Nicki Minaj does. If she was doing cartwheels, they would say it's the greatest cartwheel they've ever seen. You know, she does have her following that, worships the ground that she walks on. Good for them. And then you have people who were disappointed because they love Nicki Minaj, but they are not in support of her supporting this current administration. And I get it. I totally understand. Everybody is gonna have their opinion. All right. So here's my thoughts. So basically, I'm pretty sure you guys know by now, Nicki Minaj has seemingly aligned herself with the current administration, and she referred to the president as a handsome, dashing man. That's when I knew, yeah, this is a gimmick for her to get whatever it is that she wants. There's some sort of benefit in this for her. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. There's obviously something that she's getting out of it. I'm not condoning it. I don't have the right to condone or condemn her political association. It's her right. You know what I'm saying? She can choose to be aligned with whoever she wants. I'm not a Barb. I'm not a Carb. I'm not a Stan. I'm not a none of that. I do think it is quite dangerous for her to align herself with an administration that would pretty much snatch her up and send her packing to the country that she was born in. But hey, whatever. Here's my thing about certain people in politics. I don't personally, I don't like seeing some of these entertainers tap dancing in politics. Okay? It's bad enough that we have a number of unqualified people in political positions, making decisions, voting for things. You know, a lot of unqualified people in this country as a whole that sit in positions where decisions are made. That's frightening enough, okay? That's just my personal opinion, okay? I don't want to see, and I like Megan Thee Stallion. I don't want to see Megan Thee Stallion twerking in a small blue suit with a tie. I hated that. When I saw that, I thought that was stupid. I don't want to see Kelly and Beyonce standing up there saying two sentences at a time and waiting for the crowd to cheer. I don't want to see Cardi B reading from her phone, not practicing her speech. I don't want to see none of that. You guys are entertainers, and I'm not saying that they can't have a voice in politics, but my thing is, if you're going to take it seriously, then take it seriously all 365 days, not just as like a gimmick when it's time to vote. I never liked that. Even when I was younger, I couldn't stand it. So regardless if I like the entertainer or not, I just don't like seeing entertainers, rappers, all that stuff, tap dancing in politics. I'm not interested in it. Because 9 times out of 10, your fan base is just going to follow everything you do. When I tell you, when I saw Megan Thee Stallion twerking in that blue suit for Kamala, I was through. I said, see, this is the stupid stuff that I can't stand. But, Nicki Minaj, they say that she's lost a lot of fans. Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure she'll be able to bounce back. People are very fickle, and one minute they care, the next minute they don't. So good luck. Nicki will have to live with the decisions that she made, like most of us do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all. But I'm not bent out of shape. Anybody who's angry, they have the right to be angry. But to me, people are fickle, so nothing should surprise you with people. All right, moving along. The dress, the infamous dress. So this is self-proclaimed pastor Jamal Bryant and his wife. They were at a what was it? A charity event, right? And I come to find out that it was the United Negro College Fund, which makes it even worse. Personally, now this has my opinion has nothing to do with these people being self-proclaimed pastors and first ladies. Those type of churchy titles that these people give themselves, to me, I don't take seriously whatsoever. I don't. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But anyway, uh putting her position in the church aside, I think the dress is ugly. This is my personal opinion. I'm just talking about the dress. I'm not saying anything about her as a person. I'm not talking about her looks. I'm talking about the garments that she is wearing on her body. As you can see underneath the dress, it's a fabric that creates an illusion of you being nude. And I think that that is inappropriate for a United Negro College Fund gala, fundraising gala. I think that the dress has too much going on. I think it was styled poorly. The earrings, the gloves, the material on the gloves, the two materials on the dress, the different patterns is too busy. Her hair being down, busy, 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 busy. Okay. And like I said, for a charity event, no. I said at first when I saw this, because I know that Pastor Jamal Bryant, self-proclaimed Pastor Jamal Bryant, got in the pulpit in church and started reading everybody who was talking about his wife, who said that, for a first lady, this is inappropriate, yada, yada, yada. I wouldn't be surprised. And I said to myself, I wonder if they did this as like a publicity stunt for attention. It sounds crazy, but in this day and age, it seems like clicks and views, or if your name is trending, if people are talking about you, that's the attention is the new currency, especially if you're a famous person. And people have been talking about this dress for weeks. Okay. And I just looked at it and I said, yeah, the dress is ugly. I mean, it's nothing to talk about, but I understand certain people's position, people who are very religious and all that corporate Christianity talk and stuff like that, all that nonsense. They feel that this is inappropriate for a first lady based on their rules. Then I get it. I get what they're saying. Some people say she has the body for the dress. It's just a whole bunch of back and forth, right? I do feel that her style team needs to be called into an emergency meeting. Okay. So there was a pastor by the name of Bishop, these titles, Bishop Patrick Wooden. He pretty much said that Pastor Jamal Bryant's wife, he likened her to a $2 whore. Okay? Let's take a look and a listen to what this man, who exhibits some characteristics of like being senile, had to say. Like to hear it? Here you go.
A preacher presented his wife the other day, and I guess you call that a flesh-colored dress. I don't know. I don't know. It's black dress and flesh color. It gives the illusion that she's not wearing anything underneath. And I heard the preacher when he defended her dress by saying, first of all, he bought the dress. And then he said, I want to address people who don't know anything, who haven't been anywhere, who don't know nothing. So I guess our objection to a man of the cloth presenting his wife in
Spit it out.
public
Lord.
looking like a $2 whore. Two.
Not one, but two. Now, mind you, he didn't put a name on it. But, you know, I can't stand when people do that. You know, people will talk about someone. I see people talk about someone, they'll either give them like a different name or they won't say their name at all. We know who you're talking about, but I guess because he's not mentioning his name, it's just so juvenile. Look how old this man is. Anyway,
Two. At least two. Now, I didn't say she was. I'm not talking about her. My statement is not about her. My statement is about him. I said he presented his wife, and he said he bought the dress.
you are talking about her. You saying that he presented his wife looking like you presented his wife like a $2 whore. So, see now, y'all. I'm telling you.
Those are his words, not mine. And there is nothing classy about that. There's nothing modest about that. He said we haven't been anywhere. What I would like to know is where have you been? Where did he go? So I'll make sure that I never go there, because I don't want to go anywhere, and I come back with that kind of a notion. Now I will say this, and this is a comment about my wife, not his wife. This is a comment about my wife. My wife wouldn't have done it, no matter what I say. She just would have said, honey, I'll wear this for you. I'll wear this for you at home when we know the grandkids aren't coming.
Hurry up.
Because there is such a thing as decency. Decency.
And you're right. There is such a thing as decency. And do you feel like the pulpit is a place for you to discuss this particular matter? I would say that's a little indecent, sir. But you older than me. Who am I? Who am I? You the one with the bishop in front of your name. Who am I?
Y'all don't like me. But in public, at an event where everyone will see, I don't know of a greater way for a man to demean his wife. And if he doesn't think that that is demeaning her, there is something wrong with him. But then again, we're also talking about the guy who looked at Cam Newton's legs and told Cam he had pretty legs.
Oh no.
Yeah, see, so.
Now, decency, huh? Decency and order. That's how I go, right? Wouldn't it be decent and orderly, Bishop Wooden? Is that how you say it? To actually reach out to your brother Jamal and say this to him over the phone in private? Decency and order, huh? Isn't that how it go? Obviously, you were offended by this. So your brother offended you. So are you not to go to him in private? Anyway, let me go on to Tamron Hall. So they went on to Tamron Hall, right? And you know what I noticed about Tamron Hall? I like Tamron Hall, but a lot of people go on Tamron Hall to do like damage control. Y'all notice that? Anyway, let's take a look and listen to what the Bryant's had to say about this dress. Like to hear, here go, y'all. Like the video.
Have even a sliver of doubt before you walked out to go to the event about the dress and that it might create a stir?
People have said, oh, you know, she knew it would get this reaction. My ego is not that big.
Wow.
I don't dress for people. I dress for myself and for my husband. I am a wife. Yeah.
However, ma'am, you're a first lady and you are supposed to be serving the people, right? Your title involves you being amongst the people, being an example for the people. This is the title that you have of first lady. So it's not just about you, you know, but let's keep going.
I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I have a doctorate, I'm a professor. There are plenty of things that I do. And the challenge is we often want to see a woman be one-dimensional. I am multi-dimensional. I carry multiple titles. Now, what you choose to call me on whatever day is fine for whatever that might be. But I think that there is this idea that a woman can only be one thing. And once I happen to marry a pastor, I happen to fall in love with a man who is a pastor, right? And so with that came the title of First Lady. But there is no book for that. There is no manual for what that looks like. And I have decided that the title does not define me. I define what the title is.
I think that's a bunch of BS. You married a pastor. You know what church give, girl. I'm pretty sure you grew up in the church. You understand how the black church go. But again, you can do whatever the heck you want to do. What do I think? I think that the guy, Bishop Wooden, calling her or likening her to a $2 whore, I think that he was totally out of line for that. And the people that were in the congregation, as usual, it's always people in the congregation clapping like a bunch of seals, shouting amen, are proof that a majority of the church folk, not disciples of Christ, because to me, that's a different story. That's a whole different topic for another day. They love foolishness and they have smooth brains, quite frankly. We oftentimes see that these pastors, Jamal Bryant, he will get up in his pulpit, if you've ever watched any of his sermons, and he will just say the most ridiculous, petty, worldly things. And everybody in there clapping, the women sitting up front because a lot of them are attracted to these pastors. It's a hot mess. And also, too, the females. I just feel like, why would you applaud a man speaking about a woman like that? But does it surprise me? No, because a lot of some of these women are a bunch of bitter, jealous-hearted women, and they hate other women anyway. So I don't know. I can't stand it. I don't like it. That's not the place for that type of conversation. And I think that Jamal Bryant's wife, you know what you signed up for. Like, let's not play dumb. You know what you signed up for. I just feel like if it didn't bother you so much, you would take the criticism and it would brush off your shoulder. But I do think you being a first lady, right, and your husband a pastor, you at the United Negro College Fund charity event, I think that dress was in poor taste. I think you should just suck it up and move on. I don't, all this trying to explain this inappropriateness, this quote unquote inappropriateness. Why would you want to look nude at a charity event though? Like I said, forget about her title. Why would you want to give the illusion of nude? It's like you're inviting lust. You were in your flesh wearing that dress, and your husband loved it because he knew that people were gonna talk about you, and it would give him something to continue to be petty about in that pulpit. Now, I just want to point this out. I mean, if you're gonna do flesh tone, you might as well do it right. Look at Lenithia. Now, this is Nene's flesh tone dress. She's been rocking a lot of this style lately, but this was her at her New Year's Eve party. Now, this is appropriate. She was at. She wasn't home. Was she home? At her house? She had a party. I don't know if it was at her house or it was at a venue, but I think that this was appropriate for New Year's Eve. Okay. I'm not saying that this is appropriate for Jamal Bryant's wife, but I'm just saying, I noticed Nene has been doing this style. Yeah, this is a New Year's Eve party. Like, if you were going to a New Year's Eve gala, then maybe, but I still stand on the fact that the dress was ugly, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that she isn't a lovely lady. Doesn't mean that she isn't a nice lady. To me, it's not really saying anything about her character. It's just that the actual dress itself, like I said, was ugly. Shout out to Nene Leaks. How you doing? All right, let's move it along. On to more pressing matters. We ain't got time to worry about no dress that this first lady is wearing when Ray J was admitted to the hospital. Lord have mercy. Now, this was a couple of days ago, but TMZ, they basically reported that Ray J was admitted to a Las Vegas hospital with a severe case of pneumonia and heart pain. So he is reportedly still in the hospital. Again, this is old. However, this is not the first time that Ray J has faced the illness. He was diagnosed with non-COVID pneumonia in 2021 during the height of the pandemic. which was reportedly life-threatening. Okay, although he has received X-rays and an echocardiogram, there is no current update on his results. Now, this was a couple of days ago. I don't know if he posted an update. I didn't see anything online. I thought I had it saved where he was showing, where they were showing video of him in what seemed like a hospital room. He didn't have on a hospital gown. It just, I don't know. I don't know if it was staged. You never know with Ray J. But Ray J needs to start taking care of himself. I gave commentary before where I said that I think Ray J is a slave to whatever agreement he made to constantly be on social media. It's like nonstop, these ratchet ghetto reality shows. He goes on stream and does the craziest things. Recently, he wasn't even able to spend time with his kids because there was a temporary restraining order placed against him because of shenanigans that took place between him. What's the girl name? I was about to call her Precious. What's his ex-wife name if they're even divorced? Princess. I said Precious. Princess and the kids. It just got bad. It got ugly. But it's like Ray J doesn't miss an opportunity to get on social media and just whatever he's going through, whatever he feels like saying, he says it. I don't know. I just feel like he has some sort of a contractual obligation to remain online and stream and be this foolish character that always gives drama. I don't know. I hope Ray J is taking care of himself. Someone in the comments said pneumonia in Hollywood means someone done poisoned this man. Lord have mercy. Someone else said, I thought Ray went to the upper room. I know these pictures are so, my goodness. I don't know. Kim passed from pneumonia too. That's Diddy's, the mother of Diddy's children, Kim Porter. Somehow I feel like Diddy has something to do with this. I hope he gets better. Someone said praying for him. The comments just get worse and worse because a lot of people think that he had something to do, or they believe that he had something to do with Whitney passing. So they're saying that this is karma. I just wish Ray J well. Ray J is in something that he's fighting to get out of. I'll just leave it at that. I can see it all over that boy. All right, up next, Lord have mercy. Donnie McClurkin, okay, gospel artist. I guess he's now, was he always a pastor? They say his name, Pastor McClurkin, whatever. These self-proclaimed titles in the church, in the black church, are ridiculous. So there's a new lawsuit that has been filed against him, a civil lawsuit, okay? It was filed in New York. And according to the alleged victim, he's accusing Donnie McClurkin of actually abusing him over the course of several years while positioning himself as a spiritual mentor. So according to NBC News, the complaint was brought by Giuseppe Corletto, who says that he sought out McClurkin in the early 2000s while struggling to reconcile his sexuality with his Christian faith. Corletto says that he was drawn to McClurkin after reading the pastor's book about overcoming what McClurkin described as the quote-unquote curse of homosexuality. Now, according to the lawsuit, Corletto was 21 when he attended a church event on Long Island in 2003 and later met McClurkin privately. Question: how was he able to meet with Donnie McClurkin privately? That stuck out to me when I first read that. And why would he be meeting with him privately? What initially appeared to be mentorship, Corletto now alleges, was the beginning of grooming that escalated into sexual abuse during so-called pray the gay away sessions and work-related travel. At first, it was all very innocent and what I thought was mentoring, Corletto said in an interview. He later added, I thought I was to blame. I was brainwashed to think that my deliverance was wrapped up in him. And you know, that's very interesting because a lot of people feel that their deliverance is tied to their pastor, their bishop, their prophet, or whatever the heck else names that they pin on themselves. And that to me is the unfortunate part, because if you think that your deliverance or salvation is tied to a person that walks and talks just like you, you're already in dangerous territory, because that person can use that to their advantage. They can use that to brainwash you. They can use that to manipulate you. They can use that to control you. This is how a lot of these church leaders are able to basically shimmy and dance and preach people into emptying their wallets into the collection plate, because you think that you're obeying another human being who has titled themselves some sort of pastor prophet. To me, that's so dangerous. Control, manipulation, controlling your mind is a very dangerous territory. And this is why a lot of people emphasize getting to know God for yourself. Relationship is far more beneficial to you than religion. And it's so interesting that he came to that realization. He thought that his deliverance was wrapped up in him. Now, even if this guy is not telling the truth, right? There's a lot of people that feel that way. The way that they obey their church leaders and they worship their church leaders and think that, again, they're going to get to some sort of salvation, some blessing. They're going to get to heaven. They're going to have all these blessings rain down, and it's only going to happen through their church leader. Scary times, man. Anyway, the lawsuit claims that the abuse continued for years while Corletto worked as McClurkin's assistant and depended on him as both a spiritual leader and employer. See, there goes that manipulation. After an alleged assault in a Niagara Falls hotel in 2013, McClurkin allegedly sent an email apologizing for his behavior, writing, "I am the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man," and adding, "I feel so foul, so stupid." That's what Donnie McClurkin allegedly wrote in the email, right? So McClurkin, who's now 66, has denied the allegations. His attorney said that the claims are categorically false, stating that McClurkin at no time did engage in any form of abuse, assault, or coercion. He's his lawyer. He's getting paid to say that. A lot of people now this was interesting comment, whispering to whomever will listen, can you be groomed at 21? You can be groomed at any age. It's called manipulation. Groomed manipulation is the same thing. So some of the people in the comments were basically saying, think Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid, like cults and stuff like that. Yes, a 21-year-old can be groomed. Let me tell you something. When people are desperate, and when someone who is manipulative, someone who's a predator, okay, knows that someone is desperate, someone is easily manipulated, easily persuaded, not self-assured, broken, when they see that as prey. So yes, they can manipulate you. They can groom you into thinking, I'm going to save you. I'm going to be there for you. It's no different than in a romantic relationship. When someone approaches the other person, promising them the world, they're going to do this for them, seemingly being everything that the other party hoped for or didn't get in their last relationship. Okay, the word groom is not necessarily tied to younger, like you being a kid or a child. Grooming is just manipulation, conditioning, conditioning, which is like a psychological term, conditioning you to believe the things that they say, getting you to do things that they want you to do for them, all while I'm going to help you or providing some sort of benefit, right? Well, anyway, Donnie McClurkin spoke out for whatever reason. He already wrote a letter that his lawyer released. All right, that's floating all over social media. But he took to social media the other day. I saw this yesterday, and he is speaking out. Why? Only God knows. I don't think that this is smart, but a lot of people are not smart. So you can see the alleged victim, in the bottom right corner. And look at what Donnie McClurkin had to say. I don't need to read this caption. Just take a look at what he had to say. Notice that he's sitting in his office study in front of all his awards. That's the first thing that I noticed. Y'all go ahead and listen to what McClurkin had to say. Like to hear it. Here it go.
Address something personally. You've heard a lot that's been going on. You've heard many different accusations lodged and alleged. You've heard some very untrue things. And you've also seen an official statement that I put out. But I wanted to lend my voice and my face to this. And I wanted to let you know that I thank God for every one of you praying for me and for the support. And I thank God for truth, which you have not heard. You have not heard the truth, but you will. But I just didn't want to go any longer without addressing it. I've remained silent while this campaign, this media campaign was launched. I've remained silent because the Bible tells you to be slow to speak. I just wanted to address slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to anger. And so I had to sit back and I had to pray because there are people that look for this to be true. There are people that have already formed their opinion based on the strategic approach of defamation that's gone forward. But I just want to let you all know from my mouth to you, from my heart to yours, that it's unfortunate that I'm trying to be delicate, It's unfortunate that such allegations have been lodged. I don't understand the machinations of the young man's mind. He's not young, really. He's 40 some odd years old.
But he younger than you. See, he's not young. He's 40 something odd years old. What is that? Why is that important for you to point out? This is why when y'all pay y'all lawyers not to, I'm pretty sure his lawyers probably told him not to say nothing. But a lot of y'all don't be listening to y'all lawyers. But the lawyer don't care. You know why? Because you probably got him on retainer. He gonna get paid anyway. I'm in the wrong business.
I haven't seen this fellow in over, well, now it's 11 years, since 2015.
He said he hasn't seen him in 11 years. So what?
And haven't spoken to him since that long either. But people do things for different reasons. Most of them are monetarily motivated. And it's a shame. It's a shame because to consider yourself or to proclaim yourself to be a victim of something that didn't happen discredits the people that it has happened to. And it's a shame. But the one thing that I do know is that truth will always prevail. And the disturbed minds of other people cannot prohibit the truth from speaking loudly. Although a lie is very loud and boisterous and quick, the truth is very slow walking. And it takes a moment, but it comes to the foreground. And it takes a moment.
Anyway, so here's the alleged victim. So people in the comments talking about Donnie pulling up with his black Nike tech on. I can't. Some people believe him. Somebody said, "Why do y'all do that?" Okay, Auntie Donnie. Donnie, we seen the emails. Explain then. Yeah, I can't find them. I thought I saved it. There was the guy put out an email that allegedly came from Donnie McClurkin. People said that it was Donnie McClurkin's email that's in his bio on his page. So I don't know. But no accountability. That man didn't go to the courts to sue. He probably can't because there's a statute of limitation on this type of assault, right? Isn't there? I don't know. At this day and age, you never know. You don't know who's telling the truth, who's not. There were people who in other media, on other like on Facebook and other pages on Instagram on here and even on YouTube that were in the comment section and giving their account. Oh, they've gone to church and seen him do things. It's just a whole bunch of stuff circulating around. Some people say that they worked with him and they never seen anything like this and they don't believe this. I'll tell you one thing. Don't ever say what a grown person, kid too, would or wouldn't do unless you with them 24/7, 365, every minute, every hour, every second, millisecond of the day. You don't know what somebody will or will not do. If someone wants to sneak around and do something, they will. And I'm not saying that Donnie is guilty or innocent. I don't know. I wasn't there. But this just seems to be a recurring theme. Tyler Perry, another accuser, is coming out accusing him of something similar. Will Smith just got hit with an allegation the other day. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he should have spoke out, but he has every right to. You know, a lot of people wouldn't sit back and allow some allegations to swirl. Some people like Tyler Perry, he hasn't come out and actually said anything. I just feel like you have a lawyer. You already wrote a statement that your lawyer put out. I don't think that there was any need for him to come out and say anything, but he felt the need to. He said he prayed. So I guess that's that. Um, yeah, there have been rumors circulating about Donnie. He himself said that, he prayed away the gay. It just seems that the church has been like a safe space for. I'm not saying that Donnie is deceitful, but this just raises eyebrows, because we see a lot of things like this go on in the church. Look at Eddie Long. For a long time, a lot of people said that, these people were just trying to get money out of him. And then look what ended up happening. So you can never be too sure that somebody is squeaky clean. They're human. Yeah, they're definitely human. So it just seems that the church has been a safe space for the deceitful and those who are ruled by their flesh. I'm telling you, like, your flesh will get you caught up every single time. It's just like, oh, in the church, in some of these churches, all you have to do is, tickle the ears of certain folk. And not only will they give you all of their money, like I was saying before, but they will turn a blind eye to your indiscretions. Some may, even help cover them up as well. That's what happened with Eddie Long. A lot of people was covering up for him. A lot of people still sat in his church. If an allegation like that happens, I don't think I'm going to be sitting in the church until all is resolved, cuz I don't want to be anywhere near that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to participate in none of that. It's not that I'm saying that the person is guilty, but where there's smoke, usually there's fire. So until that is resolved, I would be removing myself. That's just me personally. Nobody has to do what I do. I'm not trying to say that. Um but all that cover up stuff, that only lasts for a limited, time. So this is for Donnie to work out, but he's going to keep going around this mountain until he does right or does what he is supposed to do. So he most certainly shouldn't be like leading or ministering anyone. I don't know if he's like giving sermons. He needs to sit down and stay off of social media. I wish him luck. I wish him nothing but luck, but this is not uncommon. Like, we're seeing a lot of people coming out now, and accusing a lot of people. Like I said, Will Smith, Tyler Perry, Donnie McClurkin. There's many others. Trust me. In the church scene, if you look up some of these, like maybe like locally famous pastors, your mouth will drop. Maybe not. But this is something that Donnie has to work out. Whatever the truth is, hopefully it will come out. A lot of these pastors have connections in high places because they have money, so they can pay for things to go away. And again, I'm not saying that Donnie is guilty. I'm not saying that he is innocent. But it's just good Lord Almighty. Like, I don't know. If we don't get our flesh under control, that's gonna be the cause of your demise. This is anybody. You got to get your flesh under control. And I don't mean just sexually, just being in your flesh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. Ain't got no more. I want to thank you. Okay, if you made it to the end, I want to thank you for listening and participating in today's Hot Topics video. Okay, this was a little bit longer than I expected, but happy 2026. It's the first video of many more to come in 2026. So I'm wishing you all the best. Be sure to drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. And I will be back soon. I love you for watching, and I will talk to you later.